Go ahead and start in a seated position. I like to sit on my heels, relax the hands in the lap or on the legs. Take a quick moment to scan through the body and notice how everything is feeling. See if you can find where you're holding tension and let go of that. For example, I feel like my right elbow is kind of like winged out from my body a little bit. And I'm not entirely sure what is causing that sensation, if it's just the placement of my hand on my leg or if there's some shoulder tightness or something going on my back. But I'm going to go ahead and just play around a little bit, see if I can find a way to relax that elbow back down towards the floor a little bit more. We are going to roll through a few variations of headstands in this practice. So if you are not a strong headstander, this will be great for you to just get some endurance built into this practice. And if you have a strong headstand practice, this will be a good way for you to explore some newer options. On your inhale, reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you bend to your right side. The right hand can come to the floor next to you. Try to press your left rib cage towards the left wall. Really getting into your side body here. Inhale, coming back up. Left hand can come down, right hand up. Inhale. Exhale, bending to your left. And then the right ribs pull towards the right wall. Inhale, coming back up. Right hand comes down. Bring the hands to the floor in front of you. And no matter which way you're sitting, you can work up onto your hands and knees. Step the feet back. We're going to push right back to a downward facing dog. Adjust the hands and feet as necessary. You can start with the knees bent. Lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Press into all 10 fingertips. Take your gaze to look back towards the knees or towards your belly button. And if you have your knees bent and your heels lifted off the floor, start by straightening just the right leg. Exhale, bend that knee again. Inhaling as you straighten your left knee. Exhale, bend. We're going to do this 3 more times on each side. So inhale, straighten your right side, heel towards the floor. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten the left side. Exhale, twice more on each side. With your next exhale, bend the knees all the way down to the floor. Keep the toes tucked under. Walk the hands back if you need to adjust the feet so that way they're closer together, sitting on the heels. For a broken toe pose, you may do so. If this is way too intense for your feet, you may bring the hands down to the mat in front of you. Maybe even grab a rolled up towel or blanket and tuck it in behind the knees. And you can sit back that way as well. And that will take some of the just physical pressure off of your feet. And then coming back onto your hands and knees, we're going to come down onto our forearms, interlace the fingers together, tuck your bottom pinky into the palm of the opposite hand. We're not going into a full handstand at all today. We are not going into a full headstand yet. We're just going to do some walk-ins and walks out just to kind of help integrate some of that pressure onto the head and neck and what your forearms need to do to help relieve that. So tucking your head into the palm of your hands, you can lift the knees off the floor wherever you find kind of like a plank-ish position here. Do so and then press your forearms into the floor. Exhale, walk the feet in. Inhale, walking the feet back out. Forearms press into the floor. Exhale, feet walk in. Inhale, walking the feet back. Exhale, walk the feet in one more time. Stay here for a breath. And then exhale, walk the feet out just a little bit. Drop the knees. Roll back to a child's pose. Inhaling as you walk the hands back towards the body so that we are sitting on the heels again. If you need to adjust your hair real quick, now is a great time to do so. If you do not need to adjust your hair because you're better at doing it than I am, you can go ahead and work your way back to a downward facing dog, hands coming to the floor in front of you. Toes tuck under, and with your exhale, pressing back to your downward facing dog. With an inhale, look up between the hands. Exhale, step your left foot forward, right knee comes to the floor, coming up to a lunge. Your hands can come to the left thigh, the left knee. If it feels good to kind of press that leg forward, you may. Right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back, giving that scissor action to the legs. Inhale as you lift your right hand. Exhale, bending to your left side. Again, you want to pull this right rib cage towards the right wall. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, shifting your weight back, straightening the front leg. Try to keep the toes connected to the floor. If you're able to bring your hands to the inside of your left leg, you may do so. Otherwise, you can use blocks or books. The motivation here is to kind of get into the top of your foot and the front of the ankle, which is not something that you typically see. And then from here, start to walk your hands over to the right side. Try to keep your right hip pulling forward. You may find that one hand is not going to come to the floor. You may use a block, you may use a book, you may just leave this hand hovering off the floor. Inhale as you work your way back, forward, bending your left knee again, coming back to that lunge. Hands come back up onto the thigh. Inhale, reach the right hand up. And then exhale, bend this elbow as you twist to the left side. Your right elbow is going to either come on top of your left knee or hook over so that way your tricep is coming to the left knee. If you're able to take your gaze to look all the way up to the ceiling, go ahead and do so. And with your next inhale, you're going to untwist from that, plant the hands, and work your way back to your downward facing dog. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, take a look up between the hands. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Left knee drops down, and then bring the hands onto your right leg. Inhale, left hand reaches up. Exhale as you bend to your left side. Left rib cage pulls towards the left wall. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale as you shift your weight back, straightening your front leg. Try to keep those toes to the floor. Hands come to the inside of the right leg. If your toes do pop up off the floor, don't worry about so much as keeping the knee bent to keep the toes on the floor. You can go ahead and just point them down towards the floor. That's going to give you the same action as if you actually had them connected to the floor. If you haven't already, start walking your hands to your left side. Left hip keeps pulling forward. Inhaling as you work your way back forward, bending the right knee. Hands come back up onto the thigh. Inhale, left hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend the elbow and either bring the elbow to or hook it over the right knee. Taking your gaze to look up to the ceiling. Inhaling. As you untwist, hands come to the floor and step your feet back to your downward facing dog. Exhale. From here, drop down onto the forearms, tuck your fingers, interlace the fingers together, and then tuck your head into the hands. Press into the floor with your forearms. Walk the feet in, coming back to that walked in headstand variation. If you have the headstand, you can go ahead and start tucking one foot and then the other. Try to come into a tucked headstand position before extending the legs all the way up. And then coming back down. Again, if you have this headstand, tuck the knees in towards the chest first before allowing one foot and then the other coming to the floor. Walk the feet out, drop the knees. We're going to press right back to your child's pose. Hands can come to rest at your sides if you would like. Taking a couple nice, big, sighing exhales might feel good here. All Inhale as you come to sitting up on the heels, hands come out in front of you. We're gonna work our way into a different variation of the headstand. We're gonna do the exact same thing as we just did. So this time the hands are gonna be planted on the floor and your head is gonna come out in front. So the idea is to create a triangle between the two hands and the top of the head. And then as well as that, you want the elbow to be at about a 90-degree angle. Lifting the knees off the floor with your exhale, you can walk the feet back in, press into the floor with your hands. You can stay here. If you have the headstand, you can tuck your knees in before extending the legs. If you would like to try something between the two of those, you can bring your right knee to the right tricep, tuck that foot in towards your bum. Left knee comes to the left tricep, foot tucks in towards the bum, and you can stay here. Or maybe start to lift one foot or one knee off of the arm before bringing it back down and trying on the other side. With your next exhale, you can bring the feet to the floor however you would like. Walk them back a little bit before you drop the knees. Come back to your child's pose. With your next inhale, come back to sitting up on the heels. We're going to roll through a couple sun salutations before we move back into a little bit of a strengthening piece for headstands. So, hands come to the floor, toes tuck under, pressing back to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, look up between the hands. Exhale as you step the feet all the way forward, come to a standing forward fold. If your hamstrings are super tight still, bend the knees, grab a hold of opposite arms, sway the body side to side. Let the head relax, let the neck relax. Inhale as you work your way all the way up. Hands come up overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the hands back up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, hands to shins. Lift halfway, look out across the room. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step your feet back to your high plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower halfway down. Inhale, flip over the toes, lift the chest to an upward facing dog. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, take a look up between the hands. Exhale, you can step, walk, or jump your feet forward to a standing forward fold. Inhale, rolling up to standing. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, the hands to heart center. Press into the palms, press into the fingertips. Elbows flay out wide. Close the eyes, lift your toes up off the floor, spread them out as wide as you can get them. Exhale, lower the toes if you haven't already. Inhale, the hands come up overhead. Exhale, folding forward.
Inhale, hands to shins, lift halfway, look across the room. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and you can step or jump your feet back to, and we're gonna lower right into a Chaturanga this time. So exhaling, inhale, flip over the toes, lift the chest, look towards the ceiling. Exhale, downward dog. With your next exhale, drop the knees, walk them forward. If you are set up near a wall, great, we're gonna use it. If you are not set up near a wall, try to find some space real quick. We're just gonna do some like headstand to forearm pushes, but you wanna have the wall, unless you're really, really skilled at forearm stand and headstand, then you might wanna try this away from the wall. If you're like me and you have stuff on the wall, we're gonna work our way to finding a way to get your feet on the wall instead of on a painting. So I'll have you do one of two things with the hands. You can either have the hands in like a prayer position and have the back of the head coming towards the base of the palms. Your palms are probably gonna come apart anyways, so it's probably not gonna be as much of an issue as you might think it is. Or you can interlace the fingers and kind of press the palms together that way. So we're gonna start in your headstand, and by getting there, so tucking the head into the base of the hands, press into the forearms, walk your feet forward. Ooh, work your way into your headstand, and then bring your feet to the wall behind you. And your feet here are basically just gonna act as a support system. So then from here, we're going to press into our forearms, press into the hands, lift the head, working your way towards a supported forearm stand. Exhale, lower the head back down. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, lower down. Do that 3 more times. And then however you would like to come off the wall, you may. Coming back down to your child's pose, you can turn your head to the left or right if that gives you a little bit more of a neck release. We're gonna do one more strengthening drill here. And by strengthening drill, I mean, I'm just gonna have you hold a plank for 10-ish breaths. So you can do one of 2 ways. If you wanna do the traditional plank up on the hands, you may. That might feel nice and good on your forearms. Or if you would like this to translate a little bit more into headstand and forearm stands, you're gonna come down onto your forearms. And once you have your arms set up, you want the elbows to be as much underneath your shoulders as possible. So if you grab a hold of opposite biceps, that's going to be about the location of where you want to be. Press the forearms down into the floor, step the feet back into your plank, and hold for a minute or so. With your next exhale, drop the knees down, You can sit back on the heels again, maybe shake out the arms if you need, and take a minute if you need it. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes of unguided play time. The idea is to get into an inversion. If you really are sick of headstands, you can do a handstand, you can work on the forearm stand, you can do some more of the strengthening, you can work your way into that tucked position, extend the legs, and then bring them back into tucked. If you would like to try some different arm variations or hand placements, I'm going to be working on a couple that I know. So we're going to do the traditional, or at least I'm going to do the traditional with the hands tucked behind the head. I'm going to do the tripod version, and then I'm going to do a couple others with my hands kind of out to the sides, palms flipped up, forearms and hands flat. That one is always a very hard one for me. And just kind of play around, see what happens over the next few minutes, and I will let you know when to come down. If you really want to challenge yourself and challenge your endurance, you can try to hold a headstand for this entire period and just see what happens. So again, if you need a break, take it. We're going to have a few minutes here, and you can jump in whenever you are ready. taking a couple more breaths wherever you are at. And then working your way down into a child's pose. The variation of the child's pose can be whatever variation you would like. And then working your way into a comfortable seated position. Bring the hands behind the back and release the fingers. Pull the elbows towards each other. Lift the hands away from your back or the floor. Maybe take a look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, relax. We're going to work our way into a version of the fish pose to kind of open up through the front of the throat and the jaw, releasing some of that neck tension. So coming back onto your forearms, legs extended out in front of you. On your inhale, arch the back, lift the chest, press into the elbows, and just drop the head back. On your next exhale, you can curl the head up, relax the back. Work your way down to laying on your back. Arms extend wide out to your sides. You can spread the legs nice and wide as well. Take up as much room as you possibly can here. Relax your head. Relax the eyes, relax the eyebrows. Soften your lips and your cheeks and your jaw. Allow your throat to open, your collarbones and your shoulders to pull down towards the floor. Relax all the way down the legs, from the very tops of your hips to the very tips of your toes. Let your inner thighs relax. Let your calves relax. Scanning through the body and noticing if you're holding any tension anywhere. And relax that area. Laying like this on the floor means that you need to put in no effort to hold yourself up. You may stay here as long as you would like. And when you are ready to get up, I hope you have a great rest of your day.